We are live, Lee. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are back again for our Monday Live. We have got two big things to talk about. First up, Maver match this. Final was at the weekend. I was fortunate enough to be part of the final. Lee was my bank runner, so he had a keen eye on everybody fishing and what was going on around the lake. And we've also got, for you folks that have entered our latest competition, we will be drawing the winner today. So fingers crossed for all you guys. You could be winning a holiday to Doco Pools plus a top of the range Preston Innovations seat box. Get some comments below for all of you people that were following Maver Match this. Tell us what your thoughts were on the event. I think it ran smoothly, Lee, didn't it? The whole event. Obviously, I was immersed in it because I was fishing, but we've had a few issues, obviously, with other big events earlier in the year. I think Maver Match this ran really well. I think the event was good. I think the fishery looked good. I think it was great.
I think I've been to an odd match this over the times, Rob, but I think they deserve massive credit because Hayfield looked incredible. It always does. I think it's the ultimate place for these big finals. I do. Yeah. I have done for a long time. I think on the big lake, it was a shame really that last time I was in, it was on the big lake, and there was a bit of an issue with an oxygen crash across the whole country. And
I remember I sat behind you, didn't I? I was your brother that
day. They had a problem, and that's the only final at Hayfield in the last 25 years of finals where it's not really been. There was lots of rubbishy areas, but apart from that, it's been incredible. And this weekend, it was really good. Like you say, you were immersed in it. One thing that always strikes me, the crowds. There's more people go to Hayfield. They do a great job of attracting people. There was loads of people walking around watching. I thought that gave a good buzz. Maver do a brilliant job of setting up the stage, and it's great. I can't fault them. It's a really good event. And I think if you're into chasing the big money matches, it's as good as it comes. Obviously, the only difference or the main difference with Fisho is it's broadcast live on Sky, which is an incredible thing. And Fisho is a great event also. But I think considering this isn't broadcast live on TV, it's brilliant. It's a really good event. And even the fishing. So like we were chatting before the start, the wind swung easterly, terrible for fishing, in my opinion, bad conditions for fishing. But even with terrible conditions, like you look at the weights and go, that was a good fishing match.
The weights at the end, the weigh sheets look pretty good, don't they, at the end?
I
think when you look at it, I mean, we'll get onto the fishing, touch on the fishing and the match itself, but there was 4 or 5 people after the event that are probably looking back going, oh, if only.
Without a doubt.
You're not going to get in a 25 peg final, you're not going to get 25 anglers all within a chance. You're just not going to get that. But you want is you don't want a runaway winner, and you want 4 or 5 guys who sort of driving home thinking, that could have been mine if I'd have just got things a little bit better, or if they'd have turned up a little bit earlier. I like Hayfield. I think it's fantastic because it's your carp fishing. I know there's a lot of crassio in there and skimmers and other fish, but really your carp fishing. Lots of methods can come into it. Rod and line can come into it as well. Pole shallow, pole deep, margins. You might be fishing for a few silvers. There's different pegs.
The top
Everyone
4
can see sort of everybody because it's open water. The crowds can get round. There's a restaurant. There's a pub. There's a tackle shop. The parking. Like you say,
I'm sticking with it, Rob. I'm sticking with it. It's the ultimate, and the lakes are sat down, so everybody's above you. So it's brilliant. And look, the top 4 came from 4 different areas of the lake on 4 completely different methods. Right? It wasn't like 2 people in one corner, which other places where I've been, which I always think are going to be good. It's just always one spot that dominates, and it's not like that. And I think, like you say, you can't have. I mean, there's out of 25 pegs, realistically, when you look at the final weights, there was only 2, 3, 4 at best that could have won, but everybody was in a fishing match of some sort, and I think that makes it a really good and exciting day. I mean, on another day, Rob, with different conditions where you drawn, would have been great.
Yeah, I think
You know,
any conditions other than what we had, it's probably a rocket ship peg. It's probably fantastic.
yeah, it
But,
is, but also a lot of other pegs would have been good that day.
yeah, we're saying that there's 4 or 5 pegs only that you could have sort of competed off. The reason we know that is because every single angler in that final is like amazing. We looked at the list and thought, these guys are amazing. They don't make mistakes. And when it comes down to that, it's fine margins. So yeah, there's certain anglers that are better than other anglers in that final. There's a hierarchy of anglers without a doubt. But very few of those anglers are going to make a mistake. When they get a good peg, they're going to make it count. So the pegs do come into it. You need a decent area to start with. You need a decent peg to start with. And then you've got to hope that you're just on that day, just that little bit better than someone else that's maybe on a good peg.
Yeah, well. which is what we have to say about Jamie Hughes won the match. I felt I had him right in my eye line, and I told him this after the match. I'm not sure, Rob, how many people would have attacked his peg how he did. You know, he definitely made the most of his peg, but not. You know, sometimes when somebody wins from a good peg, I've had it. When I won the Park Dean, there was only 2 pegs in the match, Rob, and I felt like one of those 2 pegs was going to win, and I was on one of them. And I fished well, but I think a lot of people would have done. Jamie's approach was very specific in how he managed his peg and mugged around, and it's no coincidence you're talking about somebody who's come second 2 years running and then won it. So for me, he's drawn a peg that can win because he's actually won it. You can't win off a peg that's not capable of winning. But I'm not sure if everybody would have been able to win from that. And the same with Tom Edwards. Tom Edwards has had a fantastic day, and he's had 66 kilos. Jamie's one was 68 kilos. That is 1 carp difference. That's my point about winning. I'm not saying that somebody else wouldn't have caught 65 kilos off Jamie's peg, but he's won it with 68 kilos, and that is the difference. That is that little bit. When you're talking about catching 55 kilos, 54 kilos, 50 kilos, you're only talking about 3 fish away from winning. You're so close to winning. So, you know, that, like you said, it's carp fishing. I mean, I don't know how many carp Jamie had. I would guess 18 carp, something like that, you know. And I think Tom Edwards had 16 carp. These are 1 more carp either way, 1 less, 1 more, 1, couple of skimmers in the middle of the match. I mean, I'm sure if you said to Tom Edwards, you're going to finish with what you finish, he fishes differently in the early part of the match to catch himself another 5 kilos. But hindsight's the best angler ever, isn't it? So I came away thinking to myself, do you know what? That is really good. You know, there was loads of areas like where you were, like where Andy Bennett, Andy Power, Callum Dix, you weren't winning from there. I don't care. Jamie wasn't winning from there, not in my opinion. But to win from one of the pegs that can win is a real skill. And that was a brilliant class, pure class. Brilliant, really good, really good.
That's something that was really noticeable with Hayfield. And we'll touch on this because we're going to do on our membership section a video about big matches and how they change and what the difference is between these sort of finals and a standard match, because the crowd has a big impact. Obviously, the pressure on the water, the practices lead up, just everything just doesn't fish like a standard match. The pegging, and one of the things that was really apparent was sort of the lack of bites during the match. Obviously, last hour was pretty good for a lot of people. They caught a few fish last hour, as you would expect with a match finish at 5 o'clock. But the lack of bites, sort of the fish just go, no, we're on edge. We don't like this. And they sort of do just mill around. Not really interested. And during practice and during also the lead-up matches, there's a lot of bites to be had at Hayfield. There was small carp. There's loads of stockies in those lakes now, in both Adams. Loads of stockies, loads of skimmers. Obviously with the carp, and they just didn't appear. No one caught any of those little carp, It's amazing how that pressure on the water affects the lake, and without fishing those in those scenarios, you just don't quite get it. Just how the conditions can change a fishery.
I always remember, Rob. I fished. I think it was the last final on Arena Fishermania, and I went with Will Raisin, and we went practicing together. And to say we were emptying it on like worms and with eyed and skimmers, emptying it is an understatement. It was so stupidly solid that like you thought, well, even if this doesn't fish as good, you'll catch 50 pound of these other fish with a few carp late. Like you're practicing, they're boiling at your feet. Ridiculous. Never had a single bite, not a bite during the match. Neither did Will on a pole with a worm. Not a bite, not a single bite. And it was a flat, calm, hot day, but there was 1,000 people stood around the lake. And all those fish just went, nope. And this big ball of carp, Jamie Hughes won that day. This big ball of carp was in front of Jamie Hughes and the bloke next to him. That was a day when Jamie will say he was and it was just one ball of carp, and they were the only fish to fish for. And they mooched down to Andy Power for about 30 minutes and mooched back. And we all sat on the other side of the lake, literally blanking. Like nobody had a bite.
Is that your Fishermania where you weighed 14 ounce?
No. I weighed more than that because I caught a carp late on. I was last for a lot of the time though. But that was a classic. That was a classic. We sat there. I think our side of the lake were the bottom 8 anglers, and you never had a chance. You never had a chance. But Hayfield's another. This is what you're talking about. There's so many fish, but there's all those people stood around the lake, and the fish just go, nah, don't really fancy it, and that's what happens.
And the pegging, I think the pegging makes a massive difference. And I've said this before. You go on these big qualifiers, they fish differently to, let's say, a standard open match on the same venue, because the pegging's different. People are fishing the venue differently as well. Many of the open anglers that turn up on a normal weekend, for instance, they might just fish a pole, and all of a sudden you've got a qualifier on a venue, and there's people fishing rod and lines everywhere, and pegging's a little bit tighter, and you get a bit more space in a certain corner. The fish react differently, and some of the pegs that can be brilliant on a normal open or a club match aren't the same pegs that win the qualifiers every year.
No.
It always amazes me how people feel that fish sort of like, the fish live in that area. They don't. They're moving around all the time. They're just going to safe zones all the time.
Well, I mean, your bit where you are, you had a carp in the first 6 minutes, like anybody could, and then you never had a carp for 3 and a bit hours. Well, carp when they feed, they're the easiest fish to catch ever.
Yeah.
So there's no carp there. And it's not just you. At one point, I said to you, 30 minutes went by and not a single person on either lake caught a carp. I sat there watching the whole entire match and not a single person caught a carp in 30 minutes. And that was purely because they just don't want to feed. And that's
I tell you where I was looking at the results, because obviously I managed to get the section money, which is 500 quid. It's a brilliant payout, isn't it? If you can't win 50 grand, you try and go in with something, don't you? So managed to get the section money, and I looked at our area of the lake. My section weight was the lowest money winning weight on the whole match. My blocker, he blanked. Blockers in his match. The blocker nearest me blanked.
It was only Ashley in that corner that caught any fish.
Yes,
and again, Mike McMillan was sat there last year. He had a great day there. Yeah. And that's a classic example of fish gathering in a little area. There's enough of them there to trigger the feed, and off they go. And he's opposite where Jamie was. It was obvious that end of the lake was slightly better. So
now hindsight. Now it's fish are matching hindsight, because even if I've won them, actually, I always drive home and think, how could I have done it better? Yeah. So hindsight, how could we have done things better? I think if we'd have fished a really negative match and sat there and fished a really negative match for 4 hours, we might have got to, what are we saying, 80 to 100 pounds, maybe. I
think you're being really optimistic. I mean, like you got to 60 odd. I think.
But if I fish that negative match, you've got to throw back £25 of skimmers, because that's what I caught fishing my
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think to get to £80, I honestly do, Rob. I think that would have, and in hindsight, you're talking about methods in hindsight that you didn't actually fish.
Yes.
So if you'd have actually fished like that, you might have not caught anything.
Mm.
You might have caught nothing. And I think maybe you could have sat down with a pint of 6 mils and rattled a few in a few areas, and maybe you end up with £80. But I'd have said to you at the end of the match, never really gave yourself a chance to win a
Never
match
give yourself
this.
a chance. I think you've got to give yourself a chance on these big matches. Let's just say a few hellos. Darren Hill, afternoon fellas, afternoon gents, both members of the channel. Nathan Proctor, afternoon lads. Jason Jones, afternoon lads. Hope you're well. Stephen Armstrong, afternoon gentlemen. Hope you're both okay. Paul Dudley, afternoon. Ian George, afternoon gentlemen. I'm looking forward to my holiday next week. He's off to Whiteacres for a week. I was thinking about Whiteacres, Ian, as I was doing my kit for Maver Match this, because I thought I'd love to go back Whiteacres. I think for us, probably that period is gone. We don't fish the festivals anymore. I'm not too sure the festivals offer us anymore, but I would love to go back in time 15 years and get on those festivals again and go down there and do all that.
I still think if you're looking for a fishing holiday where you can fish some matches, and we aren't looking for that because we're very fortunate to go to other places throughout the year, so it's a time thing. But I think if you're looking to go match fishing for a week on holiday, Whiteacres is still fantastic. Absolutely, it's just trip away, everything that goes with it. It's not solid, it's just nice fishing. Great times. They were great times.
Although we went to probably the nicest place to go if you're a bit of a match angler, you want to fish a match, but you also want to have some lovely pleasure fishing, or you might not even want to go fishing. You might just want to go on a break for 2, 3, 4 days. You might want to take your missus away for the week. Docklow Pools. We went there 2 weeks ago now, and it was beautiful. Lovely fishing, lovely food, lovely accommodation, and we've got a 3-night break to give away for one of you lucky guys. We ran a competition. It closed last night. We ran a competition on our website, cuttingedgecomps.co.uk. There's going to be competitions on there all the time where someone's going to win that 3-night break. Also, they're going to win a seat box as well. Seat box that both Lee and I sit on. It's the Preston Absolute 36 seat box. Beautiful bit of kit. It's not let Lee or myself down. Mine's looking a little bit chipped, I've got to say, on the back now, Lee, because I've had it now 2 years.
It's smashed to pieces, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah, and you did comment on my gear. You went, God, your gear looks tired. But
you were next to who were you next to? Wayne
Kearney, who had a brand new version of our box, didn't he? He had a brand new
Wayne, if you're watching, your gear looked amazing, super immaculate. You look so professional. Kieran Mars, and I went to him. I said, "Wow, God, isn't this nice, professional?" Yours was not like
that. Lee, what a testament to a piece of tackle if I am using it. Because I get my gear, I put it in the back of the van, I don't clean it, I don't do anything to it, I don't oil grease any hand wheels, I don't do anything. And I don't clean any rods, I don't service any reels. If I'm using the gear, it is built to last, let me tell you, folks.
You're not kidding. You ain't kidding.
I do not look after my kit, and it is built to
and last. That box is still doing you proud.
It's brilliant. Yeah, fantastic. So, Lee, talk about the runners and riders. I'm going to add the runners and riders to the stage and explain to people how we are going to choose a winner.
Right. Okay. So, as always, when you enter our competitions, we set a number of tickets. I think we said about 1,500 for this one. And when you enter, you get a number, a ticket number. As you can see down this right-hand side, or a little bit more, maybe 2,000 we did. Yeah. So basically, you were allocated a ticket number between 1 and 2,000. Now, we don't want to do just a random draw and have numbers that might not come out. So starting at the lowest ticket number, which is here, you get allocated a draw number. So as your ticket numbers, bearing in mind, when you buy your tickets, ticket numbers are randomly allocated to you. Then we put them in an order, 1 to however many, which in this case is about 850 something. Let's have a look. 843. So we've got 843 draw numbers to draw from. And Rob, using Google random number generator, will allocate or will draw a number, and we will go from this, the draw number on the left-hand side. Tell you what, keep seeing old Trevor up there again. He's obviously gone hard with the tickets. Trevor was one of our previous winners, Rob.
Yes, I'm sure it was a trip to Makins. He's won a holiday to
Makins, and I see he's gone. He obviously loves his trips. He's hoping to win something at Docklow. But let's see. We've got loads of different names.
Number generator now, Lee. So everyone should see number generator in front of them. Let's just reset this so we can get it back to how we want it. All right, superb. Tell me then, Lee, how many numbers, how many draw numbers I need to enter?
1 to 843 inclusive, Rob.
Okay, 1 to 843. I'm going to click a button. We're going to generate a number, and that is going to be our winner. One winner for this competition. Fingers crossed for you guys. Let's get going.
Good luck, everyone.
Drum roll. 627, Lee. 627.
Right, here we go then, Rob. 627. Here we go. We're scrolling down.
I'm going to write this down. I need a ticket number as well, Lee.
627. 627. Draw number 627 is Daniel Richardson. Daniel, massive congratulations. You are ticket number 1454. Daniel Richardson, 627. Huge congratulations. You have won a 3-night break at Docklow Pools for you and one other person. And you have also won the Preston Innovations seat box. So we will contact you and get that seat box to you. And you will have the contact details to contact Docklow and arrange your pool. You get 1 year to redeem that. So well done, mate. Great job. Great job.
Congratulations, Daniel. As always, folks, these competitions are... They're about what we want to do and what the kit we use. So we love Docklow. We use that box. We thought we'd give you the opportunity to sample what we use and where we like to go. There'll be more on the website added all the time. So we're not going massively in. We're not having loads and loads of competitions running at the same time. We're just trying to focus on one or two competitions. Give you guys the chance to, when we go out on a video, sample what we've sampled that day.
Absolutely. It's one of those. We hope that you're enjoying the videos on like YouTube. There's a great video about this day where Rob beats me and I beat Rob. So there's two winners on that day, and you'll have to find out which way around they are. And it's a great fun day out. Really good. We show what the whole place is all about, and obviously, if you're watching it, if you get to watch it quickly, you enter the comps. That's what we try to do, like give you guys something back from the videos, and you can see Rob washing his hair. So it's got everything.
It's a great little advert in there. We have been because when you think about it, Lee, with what we do, our viewers, we get decent views now on YouTube. Yeah. And our viewers are a good, when you look at the analytics, a good group of viewers, 35 to 60-year-olds. Unfortunately for both of our egos, they're 98% male. So obviously we're doing something wrong there.
I'm happy at 2%. I'm happy. I'll take the 2%, Rob.
That cross-section of males who are 35 to 60 years of age is a pretty good cross-section for someone who is in a trade. And you've got to say thanks to the guys at Tap and Shower.
Yeah,
we've been approached and they said we'll sponsor the video. So we did a little advert for them, and by all accounts, it's gone really well. So they've enjoyed it. They've seen something from it. I always think advertising, it's a two-way street, and if it works, it just carries on going. It's fantastic. So I think it's something that other companies, when I look at fishing as a whole, as an industry, something that other companies could look at, because when you look at, like I say, the cross section, the people that are watching the videos, if it's done right, you can get to a lot of people, a lot of
yeah, you can, yeah, for sure.
key customers, and raise awareness for your company or product.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Just a quick one before we go. Nathan Proctor's asked a question, and he said, "How does it work with the blockers on a match like a final or a Maver match? This, do they have a knock up between themselves, and do the blockers ever catch more than anyone else?" The blockers, yes, they can catch more than everyone else, because usually they're decent anglers. Usually, obviously, they're always on an end peg because they're blockers, so they've got a good chance of catching more than everyone else. And they have a little bit of a knock up. I think there's obviously a little bit of money involved. Either they have a little bit of a 50 quid between themselves, or the sponsors of the event will put up some money, because what you don't want is a situation where the blockers are just not trying and they're just sitting there. You want them to be fishing a match. And I know in Feeder King, they have a little match, don't they, between themselves?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a...
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I think they fish for 100 quid. So there's one at each end. I think they probably just split 50 quid each and have a day's fishing.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. It's
a good do, and it's important because obviously it stops that outright end peg, which can be very dominant. So yeah, it's a great situation. It's a great match.
I like to say, I think the way Hayfield's pegged for that final, you look around and you think, it leaves a lot before the draw. It leaves a lot of what ifs. You don't know where it's going to be won from.
No, I think it's great, mate. I think I couldn't. I walked away thinking I wouldn't change anything. That's how I walked away. And I think whenever you think that, great job. Yeah,
fantastic. Right, folks, we're off filming tomorrow for the members section. If you're not a member, please think about joining.
Join.
It's well worth it, in our opinion. You get a lot of tactical advice. You get all the subtleties, all the things that not only we do, but other anglers do, other top anglers do, and we pick up on it and relay it across to you. Less than Lee. I went for a meal on Friday night. It was my son's birthday, so we went for a meal on Friday night. Yeah. £8.50 for a pint. It was a bottle of beer, a pint, £8.50. It was a chain restaurant, £8.50.
So you're saying less than a pint of beer, it's can have
significantly less than a pint.
Hours and hours of match fishing footage. And Rob, you get 10% off at Willy Worms if you're a member on the website. You pay at Willy Worms. If you're a member on the website, you get 10% off at Willy Worms. So you imagine that you probably make your money back twice over in a month anyway.
Just for the people that don't understand how it works, Apple hate YouTube. They hate YouTube. So what they do on the YouTube app is when you look at our homepage, they won't give you the option to join our membership channel. You'll have to go through a Google browser, join it on Google, and then you have access from it through your Apple phone, your Apple iPad, or whatever it is, Apple TV, however you want to do it. But because Apple hate YouTube, they don't give you all these options. You'll have to do it through Google initially. Join. It'll just be on the homepage next to the subscribe button. Have a join, watch all the videos, try not to get better than us and beat us, which has been a close call on a few occasions, hasn't it? Next peg battles with members of our channel.
Only a matter of time, I'm saying.
Yeah. Thank you very much, folks. Congratulations to Daniel. We will see you next time.